Welcome to Hawg Huddle, your weekly opinion-based podcast dedicated to all things Razorbacks. From the highs and lows on the field and court to the biggest stories off of it, we've got you covered. Got a question or topic you want us to tackle? Email us or tweet us your thoughts, and we'll bring them into the huddle. So sit back, relax, and let's dive into the latest. This is Hawg Huddle. What is up, Razorback fans? It is a good weekend. Well, week now to be a Hog fan. We got a lot to get to in today's show. I'm going to talk about, we're going to start off with the okay, and then we're going to get into the excitement that was the rest of Razorback athletics this weekend. Just an outstanding weekend to be a Hog fan. But without further ado, let's crank the music. Kelsey Music has been named the 10th head coach of the Razorback women's basketball program. She signed a 5-year contract that runs through April 30th of the year 2030 with a total compensation of $600,000 per year. Now, I'm not excited about this hire. I'll be completely honest with you. I think Hunter Yurachek screwed up big time and got desperate and hired the first person that would take the job. No offense to Coach Music. She did come into Bud Walton and beat the Hogs this past year. But I was excited about the potential for the Grand Canyon women's coach and Molly Miller, and I don't know what happened. From what I've seen, talking to some other people, combing social media, there was a good potential for us to land her, and then something happened after Coach Neighbors was let go, and it turned into crunch time, and let's see what we can pull off. And we got from Oral Roberts, Coach Kelly Music. She's been in the game for a minute. She started out with 12 wins her first season at Oral Roberts, went on to win 21 her second season, and just won 24 this past season, although she did get a 30-burger dropped on her in their season finale against Missouri State. I'm trying to see where else she stopped along the way. And if this tells you anything, there we go. She doesn't even have a Wikipedia set up for her, at least not one that pops up on the first page of Google. She did play collegiate ball at Cameron University, where she set school records in career three-point average and assist. Her final season, the 01-02, they set a school record for most wins and made an appearance in the NCAA tournament. I've got high hopes that we can restore the women's program. I don't know that that's going to be a big possibility with this one. I hope I'm wrong. I'm hope with the revenue sharing. Yes, like I said a million times, every other school has revenue sharing as well for women's basketball. But maybe we can at least get one or two players and start rebuilding the culture and get some positive momentum so that we as fans can step in and help boost that NIL. But, so that's my so-so news for the week. I'm not going to dwell on that too much longer. Kelsey Music, head hog, 5-year contract. We'll see if she makes it through. But on that note, it's time to get into the exciting part of the Razorback weekend. We're going to stay with the Lady Razorbacks, and we're going to jump over to softball. My apologies on last week's podcast. I did not do enough research. Tennessee's ranked number 7 in the country. Arkansas is number 16. Should have had that information on last week's podcast. My apologies. I'm going to try to do a little bit better about making sure I've got all my information before showtime. But the ladies headed up to Knoxville, up on old Rocky Top, and they Rocky toppled the Lady Volunteers. Game 1 was Saturday. Junior left-handed pitcher Robin Herron tied a school record with 16 strikeouts as the Hogs take it to extra innings and defeat the Vols 6-3 in 8. Herron's 16 strikeouts were tied for the 11th most in a single game this season, and are the most against an SEC opponent. Good game from the Razorbacks all the way around. Played tough, didn't get down, didn't let anything get to them, and came down to the 7th inning. Kramer reached on a 2-out walk, and that was it. But then Herron got her 14th strikeout and a 1-2-3 bottom of the 7th to send it into extra innings. Top of the 8th, Courtney Day reached on an error. Ava Carter entered the game in place of Day as a pinch runner. Advanced to second on a line drive single to center. I can't talk today, guys. I apologize. I'm going to have a lot of editing to do after this one. And Ella McDowell was the one that hit the line drive to center. Miss Reho came in, singled to short to load the bases for Davidson, who continued an impressive night at the plate, hit a sac fly to give Arkansas a 4-3 lead. And then, with the bases still loaded, the Razorbacks tacked on a pair of insurance runs on back-to-back walks to lead to the final 6-3. So, great start to the series. That's a higher ranked opponent on the road. Loving what I'm seeing there. And then it just gets better. Because on Sunday, early game, again, softball likes to play in the morning, the Hogs just dismantled Tennessee. Freshman pitcher Peyton Burnham goes 6.1 scoreless innings and home runs from Carly Davison and Courtney Day. And correction, I said number 16 earlier, one ranking there, number 14. The number 14 Hogs take down number 7 Tennessee with a 9-0 shutout. Just great game by the Hogs. They are back in action. Well, by the time this comes out, the game will be over. So make sure and check your news sources, because first pitch is at 6 o'clock on Monday evening. That will be on SEC Network. I'll be watching that this evening. And coming up for the girls in softball, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all on SEC Plus. First pitch Friday, 6 p.m., first pitch Saturday, 4 p.m., and first pitch Sunday at noon. Kentucky comes to town. Another SEC series that we really need to get a W in. Now, Kentucky is not ranked. I did verify that, by the way. Kentucky's not ranked, but they do have a strong season coming in. They're battling it out with Ole Miss this weekend, which is a ranked team. So, should be some good softball played at Bogle Park coming up on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I'll be out of town, so I won't get the opportunity to go. But if you happen to be in town or headed to Northwest Arkansas, head on out to Bogle, support Coach Deiffel and her team, and keep this awesome season rolling. As of now, the Hogs sit at 23-6. They're still 3-5 in conference. But those 6 losses came at the hands of a highly ranked UCLA team, a ranked Ole Miss team, and then, of course, the series sweep by number 1 Oklahoma. So, big things on the horizon for Coach Deifel and crew. We've got a few more SEC series left, got a couple more midweeks coming up as the weather warms up. And I tell you what, I'm sitting here looking at the schedule. That SEC series finale, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, May 1st through 3rd against LSU at Bogle Park. That's going to be another good one. If you're going to be in town, I'll be in town, but I won't be at Bogle because that's Texas week. And horns down, I'll be at Baum Walker rooting against the Longhorns. But sticking with Diamond Sports, let's move over and let's talk about a series sweep by your Diamond Hogs. We'll start off with where the Razorbacks sit in the polls after the series sweep against South Carolina this weekend. Baseball America, number 2. D1 Baseball, number 2. Baseball Writers has not been posted at the time of recording. USA Today Coaches, number 2. And, of course, Perfect Game, not giving us any credit, but they do finally have us in the top 5, coming in at number 4 this week. But, man, what a weekend at Baum. If you see any of the TikToks, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see my awesome tan lines because somebody had a few too many beers in the hog pen and didn't put on enough sunscreen. But we'll start off with Friday night. Run Rule SEC victory. I mean, that was something else. Zach Root came out. Amazing game from Zach Root. And it was funny. I was laying there watching the game with my wife, Ashley. We're laying in bed in the 7th and saw that Vahiva Aloy was coming up to bat. And I said, hey, he's about to hit it out and walk this game off, run rule it. I said, there's 2 on. If he goes yard, that's ball game, run rule. Sure enough, got a pitch he could handle, takes it the other way, ends the game. So, another thing about this start with this sweep, Arkansas is now officially off to the best start in program history. Not just the DVH era, but the entire history of the program. This is the best start we have had. I'm pretty nervous, if I'm going to be honest with y'all. We're sitting here, and this team is looking good, but I know the heartbreak we faced as Hog fans the past 2 years in regionals. If this team can keep it together, keep in mind, we still have Gage Wood in reserves, healing up from injury. Once he comes back, that's another outstanding arm that will be a weekend starter, I'm sure. I am almost positive he will definitely take Landon Bottleshe's starting spot because this is 2 weeks in a row. He just has not performed very well. Heck, he may take Gabe Gackel's starting role. Gabe did not look good this week. I was at that game. He didn't even make it out of the 2nd inning. But with the Hogs hitting like they are, you can deal with a couple off days on the mound. The bats are just unreal this year. I think at the end of the game, we were up to 56 home runs on the year. So for all the Nate Thompson haters, launch angle, home run, or bust. No, we got kids hitting over 400, and we're into SEC play. This isn't just, it's the start of your schedule. You're playing a bunch of smaller schools. No, these guys are getting going. Ryder Helfrich, 2 home runs on Sunday. Vaheva Aloy, already over 10 home runs on the season. Cahillo had a quiet weekend. Didn't do a whole lot this weekend. But still got on base, still keeping his average up there. Brent Iredale, Ozzy, oink, oink, oink. He blasted a home run Saturday over my head in the hog pen and came up just shy of a grand slam on Sunday, only to get another opportunity a little bit later in the game and pretty much secure, without a doubt, the Hog win on Sunday. Sent another one deep to right. This time it wasn't staying in the park. Grand slam for Brent Iredale. Charles Davallon, 2 home runs on the weekend. Logan Maxwell just gets on base. The man is always on base. He got hit twice in 1 inning. Got hit 2 times in the first inning on Saturday. That first inning was long. It kind of took the excitement out of the baseball game, to be honest with you. But when you got good company and cold drinks out in the hog pen, it makes it better. Plus, we were keeping up with the basketball game, which stay tuned for the basketball segment because I'm going to lose my mind during that one. But this team's just doing something special, and I hope they can maintain it. Keep the pitching going, keep everybody healthy, keep the bats going. Even if the bats cool down a little bit, we'll still be fine. When Nolan Souza is the easiest out on the team, but he's starting to get going, getting some base hits, drawing some walks, you can say, okay, well, Justin Thomas is the easiest out on the team. Nope, that dude's going yard too. He's getting his bat going. And it's crazy that 2 of the fastest players on the team have the worst batting average. But if they can keep having good at bats, battling, getting on base, maybe we can improve our stolen base numbers. Because right now, that is our biggest issue, is base running. Souza ran into an out that cost us a run. Just getting caught up in some bad situations, trying to steal, getting thrown out. Base running definitely needs to improve some. But defense are one of the best defensive teams in the country. Hitting, they increased their batting average from 8th in the SEC to 2nd in the SEC in less than 2 weeks. I'm going to go over a few stats, just talk about how we're doing batting average wise. You got Cahillo Aloy batting .417, Charles Davallon batting .408, Vaheva Aloy knocking on 400's door. He's at .396 with 10 home runs and 10 doubles to boot. 40 hits on the season. Logan Maxwell's batting .373. He's already got 6 home runs on the season, which is more than he had, I believe, his entire career at TCU. I know for sure more than he had last year, but I think it's more than he had his entire career over there. Cam Kojal, he has quietly become a threat in the Razorback lineup. He's batting .365. Brent Iredale's hitting .356, 9 home runs, 41 RBIs, leads the team in RBIs. Justin Thomas Jr., who I spoke about earlier, he's up to .291, got 3 home runs on the season. Ryder Helfrich hitting .269, and then Nolan Souza is hitting .200. The only other player who's played a meaningful, more than 11 at-bats, or more than 11 games played, I should say, Kendall Diggs batting .195. I think Kendall has lost his spot in the lineup. He did come on late as defensive sub just to get some run out in the outfield. I feel like he's a solid right fielder if we need it. He just hadn't been able to get his bat going. Rocco Pepe, same thing. He's batting .278. He has not hit like I think a lot of people expected in the preseason. Speaking on that, Cam Kojal at first, doing an amazing job. Nolan Souza, the reason he's still in there is because Nolan Souza at second is our best option. It's simple as that. He is the best option at second base. No hate to Gabe Frazier or anyone else, but Souza's solid out there, and that was shown with some of the double plays that the Hogs turned this weekend. So right now for the season, the Hogs have a team total batting average of 332 versus only allowing their opponents to hit 230. The home run differential is outstanding. 56 home runs for the Hogs, only giving up 18 on the year. And runs, the Hogs have almost tripled their opponents in runs scored. Year to date, 241 runs across the plate versus 83 allowed by opponents. Back onto some defensive stats. Right now, the Hogs are fielding at a 988 percentage with a total of only 10 errors on the season. The shocking thing about the errors, or 3 of them, are from Vaheva Aloy, which is wild because he's so solid in the field. Gabe Frazier and Ryder Helfrich both have 2. Cam Kojal has 1. Rocco Pepe has 1. Brent Iredale has 1. I'm not sure where Brent's came from. I think it may have been on a throw a week or 2 ago, but Brent Iredale at third base. I always thought Souza was going to be the third baseman this year. Little did I know that old Brent Iredale is going to make his way over here from Australia, and that man's going to make a lot of money here in the near future playing professional baseball. I do have a feeling. And then we can get into our pitching. Total ERA for the Hogs, 3.43. Worst ERA on the team goes to Gabe Gackle at 6.57. Next is Christian Fouch, and we'll calm it down a little bit and settle back to reality. I don't know what's going on with Christian Fouch. It's got to be between his ears because he was solid last year. I don't think Hobbs would have messed with his mechanics or anything like that. But Christian Fouch has not performed this year at all. Had a very short lease on Sunday with DVH. And DVH did not appear happy to have to take him out so quickly. I think he only faced 2 or 3 batters, hit 1, gave up a hit. Not a good outing at all for Christian Fouch. I'll tell you who did have a good outing this weekend, though. Coming in and picking up for Gabe Gackle, Aiden Jimenez. That boy's got something. And whatever he's got, he needs to keep it because he came in and shut down the Gamecocks and then turned it over to Will McIntyre, who has just been solid all year. Come in with experience. He's not going to blow you away. He's not going to sneak anything past you. He's just a solid pitcher that can give us some good innings and some good outs. And, yeah, Brandon, Big Mac, one of my favorite on the pitching staff, still doing well. Speaking of doing well, how about Carson Wiggins? Coming in, getting some clutch saves. He's sitting at a 2.57 ERA on the season. He does have a win to his name and 3 saves. For a freshman, that dude brings the heat. I Don't know that I've seen it yet this year, and if it's happened and I missed it, I apologize. But he's going to hit triple digits before the year's over. He was putting 99 on them Sunday afternoon and just filling up the strike zone. Did give up a hit. Wasn't anything to worry about. Took care of business. Got the game in hand. Secured the series sweep for Arkansas. Just outstanding play from the Omahogs. And I don't know what else to say. I mean, it's great. Playing well, winning games, best start in program history. I don't know what else to say. 23-2, 19-0 at Baum-Walker. So next up for the Hogs, Tuesday night, SEC Network Plus, 6 p.m. first pitch. Missouri State's coming down for their annual trip to Fayetteville. I swear we play them every year. And I think, let me double check the schedule. We're actually traveling up to Springfield, Missouri on April 29th, right before that Texas series. We're going to go up there and play up there, and that one's going to be on ESPN Plus. So anybody got an ESPN Plus login, they want to DM me on TikTok or Twitter, I'm not going to say no to it. But back on track with the schedule. This coming weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the Hogs head to Nashville, Tennessee to take on the Vanderbilt Commodores. Friday night's game, first pitch, 7 p.m., will be broadcast on the SEC Network. Saturday, first pitch, 2 p.m. on SEC Plus, and Sunday, first pitch, 1 p.m. on SEC Plus. Really looking forward to seeing how they perform over there in Nashville, even though it's a ugly, ugly stadium with the turf field. Turf fields don't belong in baseball, and I'll die on that hill. But I don't really know a lot of people that disagree with me on that one. Everybody I've talked to is like, yeah, get rid of the turf. Natural's the way to go. After Vanderbilt, next Tuesday is the Dickey Stevens game. That'll be against Grambling. And then back home at Baum-Walker for a 3-game series with Mizzou. I should be out at Baum-Walker on Friday night. I love the day games, but there's just something about the atmosphere after dark at Baum-Walker. It's electric. Mizzou, not the greatest opponent. It'll be a lot more interesting when A&M and Texas and Tennessee come to town. But still, not going to get mad at a Friday night atmosphere at Baum-Walker. But that's going to wrap us up on baseball, folks. And this is already the normal length of an episode. Told you it's a good week to be a Hog fan. It's time to go dancing. We'll start off with our first dance against the Kansas Jayhawks up in Providence, Rhode Island. True neutral site game. Hog fans did travel well, but still, Providence, Rhode Island is a long way from Arkansas and Kansas, because that is the proper pronunciation now that we've handed them defeat in their final game in 2 of the 3 major sports. Only thing we need now to cap it off is have Kansas baseball and Kansas softball come on down for a regional and then get sent back to Lawrence. But let's jump into some stats on the game against Kansas. Trevin Brazil, 12 rebounds, 11 points, 2 blocks. He had it going on. TB playing well. But the real player of the game, in my opinion, and everybody else's. He didn't have the rebounds to go with it, but big Jonas Adu putting up 22 points, 5 rebounds. He played 38 minutes and 44 seconds. He was out there almost the whole time. The officials did not handcuff him in this one. Hogs won this one in typical fashion, though. Built up a lead in the second half, squandered it away, ended up trailing. But Coach Cal and the boys, they got it done. Boogie Flan comes back, plays almost 24 minutes, 6 points, 3 assists, no turnovers, 3 steals, ±6 with him on the floor. It don't get much better than that. That's a nice way to blend Boogie back into the rotation. I think that's a few more minutes than Cal had anticipated him playing. But he wasn't forcing anything on offense. He did go 0 for 4 from 3 in this game, but I didn't feel like he was forcing anything on offense. And defensively, he was a menace. The big thing here, and a lot of the credit here goes to Adu and Brazil, but future used car salesman Hunter Dickinson ends the day with only 9 rebounds and 11 points. Plus minus while he was on the floor for Kansas was -12. The only one that was worse than him was DeJuan Harris. But you shut down what is considered and touted as one of the best big men in the game that's also been playing for decades, it feels like. That's what you got to do. 10 lead changes in this one. Hogs take it with a final score of 79-72 and advance to Saturday during the baseball game for a round of 32 game against St. John's. Now, this one, I have not watched the game. I'll be fully transparent with y'all. I was at Baum Walker. The game was cutting in and out on my phone. We were keeping up with it, but I was not watching it like I would be sitting at home on my couch. And then I've watched a few highlight videos to kind of get a grasp of how the game went. One thing, this was a road game. Everybody who was there and commented on it, that place was packed with St. John's fans. They were rowdy. They were loud. It was, the Razorbacks were wearing road red, and they were the road team. But even with the officials, even with everything else that was going on, and Cal being washed up and can't coach anymore, and the game passing him by, the final score was Arkansas 75, St. John's 66. That's right. Everybody listening already knows this, but I love to say it. Sweet 16, baby. 4 out of the last 5 years, the Hogs have made the Sweet 16. The only year they didn't make it out of the last 5 years, they didn't even make the tournament because the team and Muss threw in the towel after beating Duke. This game, from everything I've seen and what the stats say, 100% ref show. Big Z fouls out, and he only played 10 minutes. Didn't record much of any stats. He did make a crucial shot, got 2 rebounds, but 5 fouls in 10 minutes. Jonas Adu couldn't do anything without getting a whistle blown. I'm scrolling through the stats right here. So 24 total fouls on Arkansas out of the 44 called in a 40-minute game. That was more than one foul per minute. The only two players that didn't even think about foul trouble were Carter Knox, who had an outstanding game, and DJ Wagner, who the stat line looks ugly, but he was showing everybody else how to beat the defense. And listening to people like Curtis Wilkerson, who I put all my faith in basketball, in his opinion, very knowledgeable guy. You're not going to find anybody that follows the Hogs any closer than he does. And he said that DJ was getting hammered driving to the hole, and there were 0 fouls called in favor of DJ Wagner. So 4 of 16, 8 points, had a rebound, 4 assists, only 2 turnovers, 2 steals. Decent stat line. Done what needed to be done as a point guard. Boogie plays 20 minutes in this one. Goes 2 from 8 on field goals, 1 from 5 from 3, and hit 1 out of 2 free throws. Ends up with 4 rebounds, 6 total points, 2 assists, no turnovers, and a crucial steal. I did see this highlight. Just a hustle steal late in the game that I'll say started driving the nails. It was the first nail. It may not have been the final nail in St. John's coffin, but it was the first one. Because like Coach Cal said, they put us in a coffin. They just forgot the nails. Arkansas brought the nails for St. John. And only 4 lead changes the entire game. Hogs win the first half. Hogs win the second half. 75-66. We are Sweet 16 bound to take on the Texas Tech Red Raiders. One thing to be on the lookout for against Texas Tech is Chance McMillan, and will he play? They held him out against Drake. It's one of their best players. Scrolling through their schedule right now, looking for common opponents. They did lose by 5 to Texas A&M, which Arkansas lost by more. But that game was also at Texas Tech. Arkansas played the Aggies in College Station. Trying to kind of scroll through here and see if I see any other common opponents. Now, Texas Tech did upset Houston earlier in the year. They put a beat down on TCU, which snagged one in the exhibition game against Arkansas. And they got out the belt against Baylor as well, 73-59. Arkansas did not fare so well against Baylor. Now, when Texas Tech went up to TCU's house, well, technically it would be over and slightly down. TCU did knock them off 69-66. And the second matchup with Baylor, Big 12 tournament game was much closer. Texas Tech edging out the Baylor Bears 76-74. I'm curious to see the way our guys are playing. I'd put them up against anybody left in the tournament, which if you can beat Texas Tech, you're probably looking at a rematch with Florida to make it to the Final Four. I got a little bit ahead last week. I'm not getting ahead this week. We've got to handle business against Texas Tech. That game is going to be Thursday night, 9:09 Central Time on TBS because they're playing out in San Francisco. So, got to battle the West Coast time zones. What I'm hearing is that I'm going to come home from work, take me a nap, then wake up and yell and scream at the TV from probably 9 to midnight because there's no telling how long this game will take. Like I said, though, y'all, I keep saying it, it's a great week to to be a Razorback fan. Just domination across the board. Baseball sweep, softball going for a sweep tonight. The basketball team that didn't deserve to make the tournament and had a washed up coach and whatever other media hot take you want to latch on to, are going to the Sweet 16. They are the lowest ranked team, the lowest seeded team in the Sweet 16, I believe. Maybe now, during the SEC tournament, you need to win one more to make the tournament. You need to win one more to make the tournament. Maybe now that we've made the Sweet 16, we're no longer a bubble team. Although I'm sure Jeff Goodman would probably still try to say we're a bubble team. And Joe Lunardi would run his mouth about how Cal doesn't know what he's doing coaching and say we don't deserve to be where we're at and Cal doesn't know what he's doing. On that one, let's talk about that for a second. Joe Lunardi should not be commenting on teams. I'm sorry. Joe Lunardi is a bracket guy. And looking at his stats, not a real good one anymore, but he's a bracket guy. Stick to brackets, let the coaches coach. Maybe let players like Charles Barkley and Kenny Smith and Pat Bradley, your former ball players that know how this works, let them comment on the coaching, although half of them probably still get it wrong too. Let them handle that part. You handle brackets. The way I see it, Lunardi's got it easy now. All he's got to do is start putting out 2 early brackets for 2026 that make no sense and don't have any science or fact behind them. Trying to think if there's anything else I need to tell you. Transfer portal opens today. Let's talk about that for a second. We're not even played a Sweet 16 game yet, and the transfer portal's open. I loved Cal's comment on that in one of his press conferences. He said, when's it open? This Monday? Well, I guess not only are we resting and getting ready for Texas Tech out in San Francisco, I'm also going to be having to have meetings and find out who's coming back and then start hitting the portal recruiting players. I understand that with football, it's for the academic calendar. I don't know what the excuse is in basketball. But let's be real here. The academic calendar does not matter. These guys are getting paid to play sports at a college. Yes, they're getting a degree. Arguable as to whether they are getting or earning. But we should not have the transfer portal opening while teams are still having to actively game plan and coach. Worst case scenario, transfer portal opens the weekend of the national championship in both sports or the weekend before. No reason to have the transfer portal opening in the middle of the tournaments because football has switched to a tournament now. I consider a 12-team playoff a tournament style. Basketball, they're trying to expand the tournament. They were arguing over whether some of these teams needed to be there or not this year. We do not need to expand the tournament. We just need the selection committee to have a set of criteria and follow it. But I've rambled on long enough for that this afternoon, guys. I appreciate everyone tuning in. Stay safe out there this week. Tuesday, baseball. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, baseball and softball. And most importantly, Thursday night, Slobbering Hogs. Basketball, Sweet 16 against Texas Tech. Thursday night at 9:09. Have a great week, everybody. Appreciate y'all. And as always, woo pig. Let me take this opportunity to say thank you for listening to Hawg Huddle this week. Make sure and subscribe on your favorite podcast provider. Tell your friends and follow us on socials. We're on Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube. Thank you again for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.